What's up, everybody? Rick Knight here, back with another video of The Bad Philosopher. This time, I'm making this video to talk about the last debate that I just had. I do a lot of my debates through social media because I can interact with just more people in the world than face-to-face, although I like face-to-face debates better. I'm planning on setting up a forum on this channel where I can actually have debates with people. Hopefully that goes over. Tomorrow I have some new things adding to the show, backdrops and a few new things. I'm gonna start doing video editing and all that stuff. It's all in the making. But in this debate, the argument was, somebody posted something, I responded, and it drifted off into what the conversation was about, and it started talking about Marx's idea of property rights and what personal property and private property, that he thinks there's a difference, that you have rights to your personal property, your personal belongings, such as, they said, your toothbrush, and the communists don't want to take your toothbrush away, and of course they don't want to take your toothbrush away. They just want to take away your livelihood and your house and anything with any kind of real value to it. A toothbrush has no value, so they'll let you keep it. The clothes on your back, it has no value to anyone but you. So they don't want to take your clothes off your back. They just want to take anything that the state could use because it has value. So my argument with these people were that property rights, that private property and personal property is the same thing. They're not different. Private property is not different than your personal property. So as a philosophical standpoint, or my philosophical standpoint in this is, the value to me between the toothbrush and a home is the same. It's the same value, not the same monetary value, because a toothbrush is not worth anything, right? But a house is worth something. So they don't have the same monetary value, but in essence, it has the same value. And the reason why is because, I sell my labor to someone who gives me money. Like, I trade my labor for money, for currency. I do a job for you, you pay me. I work all week for my company and they pay me. They give me money, right? So it's an equal exchange, labor for money. That money represents my labor. My labor is owned by me. I own my labor, therefore I own the money. It's my money, it's my property. It's my personal property and my private property. It's my money. I can do with it, what I choose to do. I can buy a toothbrush with it, therefore making that toothbrush my property. Private and personal. It's personal because I personally own it. It's private because that toothbrush is exclusively mine and no one else's. It's my personal and my private property. I can take all this money. Ignore the sirens in the background. You probably hear. I do live in Brooklyn. I can take this money and buy a car. I could save it up. I could buy a home. I can buy whatever that's available to me, right? Whatever I want that's available to me. I can go out and I could trade that money, which is my property. I can trade it with you for something, for anything I want. And that becomes mine. I traded it, right? I value, I bought a new backdrop for tomorrow, as I mentioned. I valued the backdrop that I'm going to use more than I valued the money that I own. It's my money. I own it. I value the backdrop more than that money. I'm giving them the money because those people that I'm buying it from value the money more than they value the backdrop, so they're selling. So it's freedom of association. It's a voluntary transaction between us, between me giving my property, which is money, to them for their property, which is the backdrop that they're willing to sell to me. This is capitalism. It's a very, very, very simple concept. Karl Marx doesn't believe that that they're the same. He thinks that it's different. Private and personal is different. It's a different thing. So therefore, your personal stuff is your personal stuff, but your home and stuff like that, and your business, and none of that is your personal. That's private, and it shouldn't be. It should be awarded to the state. It should be for the public use. It shouldn't be for you. It should be for the benefit of mankind, not for you personally. But the same could be said about my labor. It's my labor. I own it. It is personal and it's private. It's both. It's my labor is my. It's a form of property. It's something that I own. It's mine. I can do with it what I want to do, right? I can work for free if I want, or refuse to work for free, whatever I feel like doing, it's my labor, and I'm trading it for money. That money is mine. And then the money is traded for something else. Whatever that something else is mine. That's how this works. I know it sounds like, mine, but that's exactly what it is. It's mine, 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 mine. And you can't take it. And the government shouldn't have it's mine, because nothing is mine when it comes to the state, right? The state doesn't create wealth. All they do is redistribute it. They take through our taxes, right? Which we can argue taxation is theft. I'm like this with that concept, but that's another video. We pay our taxes, they take our taxes, and they distribute it anywhere that they seem, where it seems necessary for them. And a lot of the places we don't agree with where our tax money goes to. But again, that's another video. But this concept of private property versus personal property, and nothing is private. It's everything goes to the state. That's immoral. That's a complete immoral idea and concept, to tell someone that you're not allowed to have this private property. You're only allowed to have personal property. Where is the freedom in this? Where do you draw the line between what's private and what's personal? Is it based on the structure? Is it based on the monetary value of the item? Is it based on what, how much usage the item has, or how many people can benefit from that object? Where do you draw the line? When do we say that your underwear is not personal and it's private or public property, right? Who decides what is and isn't personal property? If you go back to, let's go back to first cause principle in this argument. The first cause in this argument is what? It's that you are buying something, so therefore you own it because you're buying it with money, that money that you earned with your labor. You traded your labor for it. So, if you go back to first principle, everything stems from your labor, from your effort, from what you do to earn a living. Now, I'm not talking about someone who steals, a criminal who's stealing money, robbing people and then using the money to buy something. I mean, that's again, I'm talking about the bulk of society here in America, the bulk of people who just work, the wage earners. We trade our labor for whatever it is, whatever you do to make money, of course, as long as you're not hurting anyone. That is your labor, and what you do with the money is your business, right? No one should tell you what you're allowed to do with your money. You spend it however you seem fit. Of course, as long as it's within reason. You can't spend your money to like have your ex-wife killed or something. That's not what I'm talking about. But you're allowed to spend your money on anything that's within reason, and whatever it is that you purchase, it's yours. You own it, and you can do what you want. It's your personal property. So when I see someone's house, I respect that person's property. That's their personal property. They personally own that home. Maybe them and their wife own it, or whatever the case may be. Maybe there's two brothers or a brother and sister who own a home, or whatever the case may be. But that's their personal property, and it's their private property. It's their property, plain and simple. They bought it through legal means. To say that the state should own any of this, it's immoral. It's evil. There's just a clear-cut reason why all forms of Marxism failed 100% of the times in the 20th century. Not only that, but the over 100 million deaths that occurred in the 20th century because of any of these Marxist ideas. It's a terrible system. It's immoral and it's pure evil. So Marx had it wrong, and Marx is a man who never worked a day in his life. He lived off the dime of his parents, and he also lived off of financial backing from his partner Frederick Engels, who supported him in writing the Communist Manifesto and all his other very, very, very poor philosophical writings that he's had, and his ideas that they tried to implement multiple times to no success at all. Venezuela is just the last example. It doesn't work. It's a very selfish and envious and resentful idea to say that private property, that you have no private property, that belongs to the state. You're only allowed to have personal property, because with that mind state, it limits our personal freedom, it limits our individualism, it limits our ability to grow, to own stuff. It limits our ability to pass things down to the next generation, to our children. And that's why they want to stop that. That's the whole purpose of Marxism, is to make all of us equal. Because if I'm capable of owning a home because of my hard work and good decision making and putting in a positive effort and doing what it takes to own a home, and then when my time comes, that home gets passed off to my children, where there'll be other children out there whose parents didn't make the same decisions I've made and didn't own a home. Now they don't get anything passed to them. There's no money left for them. There's no homes or property left for them. And to the Marxists, it's not fair. It's not fair that one kid will not have anything left inherited to him, but another kid will. And how are we all equal if they don't, if one kid doesn't get the same as another kid? And, look, life is just not fair. That's how it is. If your parents screwed up in life, don't make my kids suffer. My parents screwed up and I didn't do a very good job either. I kind of messed up and I understand this now, and why that my kids are not going to get the best that I could have offered them if I thought this way back then. I was a teen dad. So, but I wouldn't want inheritance being taken from another child, from another kid, because my kids are not getting what I should have provided for them. It's not fair, and it's immoral. So even when I see rich kids that their parents became wealthy and they're passing that down to the kid, it is what it is. There's no reason why we should put a stop to that. That's, again, that money is the parents' property. Their money, their everything they own, it's their property to do what they want with it. And if they choose to hand it down to their children, they have every right to do it. We have no right to take it from them. So there is no difference between private property and personal property. And Marx, that's just another thing that Marx completely got wrong. Completely got wrong. It's immoral to say that we're allowed to own certain things and not that. Now, I understand we should not be allowed to own a jet fighter or an atom bomb. This is just common sense. It's not within reason to own something like that. But hey, listen, if you can make a lot of money in life and own a mansion and a yacht and a plane, you have your own private passenger plane, go right ahead. Shit, as long as you earned it, you earned the money, it's your money. Do what you want with it. If you have the ability to make a lot of money and you want to spend it on stuff like that, then go ahead. That's why I don't get mad when I see these celebrities or musicians or professional athletes and they're driving, $1 million cars, driving a Ferrari. Look, it is what it is. They became a professional athlete. I became a plumber. It's not the same. They make a lot of money. They wanted to own a Ferrari. Hey, so be it. Go own your Ferrari. And that's it. So Marx got that wrong, and Marxism sucks completely. And whatever you own because you paid with money that you've earned from your labor is your property. It is your personal property and your private property. That's all I have for today. Thank you very much.